This is, by the way, something that we actually do in normal life. Let's say, before we started, I told you I probably have a little bit of a bronchitis, so I have, sore throat and coughing and stuff like that. Well, when I started having the symptoms, what did I do? Did I go to my mechanic? No. Did I go to, a journalist? No. Did I go to a doctor? Yes. Right? Why? Well, because that's the relevant expert, right? I know from experience and from the way in which our society is structured that if you have a health problem, you go to a doctor. Now, if I wanted to know whether that doctor is reliable or not, then I have a number of tools at my disposal. First of all, what's the track record of that doctor? Does he get things right more often than not? I can start asking around, asking other patients, for instance, or my own history. Has that person helped me in the past? His suggestions they worked out or not? And then if I have still doubt, I'm going to look for a second opinion or a third opinion or a fourth opinion. In other words, I'm going to look for consensus among experts. All of those things we do on a regular basis. And it's funny to me that people don't do that often when it comes to science. They go for the lone person or the conspiracy theory or, all of these people, they're scientists, what do they know? But in any other area of regular life, I mentioned a mechanic, if your car doesn't work, what do? You go to the expert. And how do you evaluate whether the expert is a good one or not? Well, you look at their credentials. That's why both mechanics and doctors have diplomas in their offices when you walk in, right? Because those are the credentials that show that somebody has checked on these people, and they are who they claim to be. You look at their track record. You look at what other people in the same general area of expertise do. So it's kind of very weird if you think about it, that a lot of people don't do that when it comes to science. During the pandemic, there were lots of people who say, I'm doing my own research. Really? On what grounds? That would be like me having a problem with my car and say, I'm going to fix it. On what basis? What am I going to do? Look up a bunch of YouTube videos on how to fix cars? I don't think so. It's just not going to work.
And the car is also going to be a lot simpler than understanding vaccine science.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know. I had a relative actually who, during the pandemic, asked me to send her several of the papers from the primary literature that were talking about the vaccines and the COVID virus and so on and so forth. And I said, why do you need them? I said, I can send them to you, but why do you need them? Oh, well, I want to look for myself. And I said, but you're not a virologist, you're not an epidemiologist. What are you going to look? And her response was, well, I took one course in statistics in college. Oh, okay. If that's all it takes to be an expert on vaccines, then go ahead and knock yourself out. But you're not going to, I guarantee you're probably not going to understand what you're reading. Or even worse, you're going to misunderstand what you're reading, in which case you're going to act on the basis of, bad information.
Mm-hmm. Quite recently, I think Sam Harris had a tweet or something like a tweet where he was deriding this new, religion or motto of the pandemic era, which is like, quote unquote, do your own research, because so few of us are qualified to do the research on these topics. And what I find very funny is if you suggested to somebody that they should do their own research on some esoteric branch of math, like motivic cohomology, people would say, no way, I am not capable of that. I can barely do high school algebra. But as soon as it turns to vaccines and COVID, people do really feel like they're capable of judging and understanding the science. And so it's very strange why that is.
It's, in a sense, it's one more manifestation, especially in the United States, of anti-intellectualism. Anti-intellectualism is a sociological phenomenon that has been described at least since the 50s. again, it's particularly prevalent in the United States, although it's certainly present in other countries. And it does have a number of different origins in the US. And one is connected to the high degree of fundamentalist religiosity that characterizes this country. So that's where you get things like, creationism and intelligent design theory and so on and so forth. Another one is the fact that American society has has been built on a pioneer spirit, and therefore the only things that matter are practical, and they have to be useful right here, right now, and that implies a disdain for any kind of high intellectual activity, for any kind of things that doesn't have an immediate payoff, and so on and so forth. But this notion that, oh yeah, I can do my own research even though I have absolutely no background in a particular area, that's the sort of naive and dangerous things that anti-intellectuals would say. And the problem is that, as we were saying in the beginning, it would be funny if it were for the fact that people die as a result of it.